Black man killed by the state. So burn businesses down. Because reasons. You probably know the story by now. A black man was killed slowly by the cops in Minnesota, and people are rightfully upset. But I've already done several videos, even appearing on TV, talking about it. And I'm only mentioning this because the inevitable crackheads in the comments are going to pull the it's sad that you're more angry about looters than you are men being murdered by the police. Nope. Anybody that doesn't have a brain the size of a coronavirus can actually hold two positions at the same time. Just because you're too stupid or too much of a pansy to criticize bad behavior does not mean that this applies to everybody else. I am under no requirement to choose between state aggression and looting. That's some nonsensical thing that you projected on everybody else. It's a false dichotomy, a false choice. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get this out the way. The people looting are a bunch of opportunistic degenerates that don't deserve any sort of justification or excuse for their moronic actions. Believe it or not, we actually know who killed George Flynn. There's video of it. Evidence. It's not like he just turned up dead and we needed a Batman level detective to figure it out. We know exactly who is responsible for it. Now, there were people actually taking it to the precincts with their gripes and frustrations, and those are the ones with any damn sense. But we aren't talking about them. We're talking about the ones that are breaking windows of businesses that had absolutely nothing to do with it. And believe it or not, there are a bunch of dipsticks that justify this lunacy. They say they're just slashing out because they're so tired and distraught with the injustice and the treatment of black men. Are you stupid? Don't answer that. I know that you are. Yeah, as these weirdos walk out with flat screens and these TVs shouting their Instagram accounts, I'm sure the main thing they're prioritizing is black lives or the man that was killed. I guess they needed a 65-inch television to take down to their bat caves, so they can then plot out a plan for actually taking it to the police. By your logic, they're just grown adults acting like toddlers throwing tantrums, but I'm not willing to give them such leeway. Toddlers know better. These are just people that were looking for a reason to act like buffoons. Now imagine being so goofy that you have video evidence of the aggressor, and instead of actually taking it to them, you blow out the window of a pawn shop or a liquor store. And then you take everything of value. You gotta go out of your way to be that stupid. Catch the aggressor on tape, you know who it is, you know the institution responsible, and you respond by burning your city to the ground, which actually hurts you long term and doesn't incentivize businesses to invest in your area. So it's like being an eyewitness to your friend being thrown off of a bridge, and in response, you shoot yourself in the dick because you're mad. You did nothing conducive to actually getting to the root of the issue, and now you don't have a dick. Congratulations. Blue check marks justify this behavior because this has become, again, a moral grandstand and virtue signal. Everybody now wants to be a part of something, and they're being dishonest with themselves and the situation in the process. People have then justified it in a multitude of different ways. First, because Target and Wendy's were the first videos out, people say it's okay because they're rich. And if you dare call them out, you're defending billionaires and the millionaires over black lives. They've conjured up stories even to try to justify this, like Target and the milk, or the one time Wendy's sold a burger to help that cop's wife's uncle's brother's best friend's cousin. Yes, that's it. Everybody that looted the store was on the same page. They knew about that. They had the background. And that's why they looted. I even had one brainlet tell me the goal was to disrupt white money. Yeah, because Wendy's and Target only employs or serves white people. But get this, as naive as the suggestion may be, big businesses were not the only ones impacted. They weren't the only ones that had their property damaged. In fact, I'll link you in the description to a long list of businesses that had property damaged and they were being looted. Like, it's a list and it continues to grow. One, called Sonny's Hair and Wigs, is even a black-owned business. Way to go, guys, sticking it to the man and showing that you care so much about black lives by damaging property owned by black people. Because of reasons. Then they try to excuse it by saying that they have insurance. Do you know how insurance works? Do you know what a premium is? Do you think simply all these businesses are just going to be reimbursed? They're going to recoup every dime. They're not going to suffer any consequences. Nobody will because of it. Do you guys always just go light up people's things that had nothing to do with anything just because they're insured? It's of no surprise that these economic illiterates are the same ones that have been lecturing everybody else about why we have to do these crazy lockdowns because of a virus that has a 99% survival rate, and never even accounted for 40 million unemployed or the deaths of despair. Of course, they were allowed to go back on everything they've been lecturing us about this for the past 2.5 months. And now it's okay to be in large groups. I've not seen one article, a blue check mark, viral tweet about the potential spike in virus cases. I guess viruses don't like protesters because they're made of the same stuff as Walmart and Lowe's magic doors that stops everybody from getting the virus upon entry when folks were jammed in there because they were the only places open. Much like they couldn't understand the interconnected economics then, they don't understand it now. They have no assessment of cost-benefit analysis or trade-offs or anything. But check this out. What's maybe the most hilarious thing about this is how every time around a big event happens and social media rolls out the catchphrases and talking points that they're all gonna adopt. And this is why we call you NPCs. I've ran into more Martin Luther King Jr. quotes than I have in my entire life about riots and so forth. Also, there's those that keep mentioning the American Revolution. They say that this is the fabric of America. Destroying people's private property is what made this country. Oh, wow. Y'all like the founders now and their methods, huh? And the other day, y'all called them slave-owning racists and have been advocating that all of their monuments be torn down. Now, they're the beacon of what must be done. Me personally, I don't give a damn about them. But what they're referring to is the Boston Tea Party. It was even trending on Twitter at one point. This is such a self-detonating point because that was a more targeted event. Recap: Americans opposed the British Townshend Acts and subsequently the Tea Act by way of Britain. And when it comes to the latter, the whole thing was centered around the East India Company, which was basically a state-protected and endorsed monopoly. So in rebellion, they actually targeted the tea made by the East India Company, and they dumped it in the river. It was so efficient that they only damaged the padlock on the ship and they swept up after themselves. In other words, destroying the property of the local diner has absolutely nothing to do with the cop being on the neck of a man and slowly killing him. Ironically enough, the Boston Tea Party was in opposition to taxation, which up until 48 hours ago, or 48 hours before I shot this video, y'all were advocating for more of. The people that try to rationalize with this are no friends of liberty. Instead, they are cowards that don't want to criticize looters because it isn't socially acceptable. That's because, again, to their colleagues and the people they virtue signal for, they aren't capable of understanding that two things can be true. State aggression is bad and looters are idiots. It doesn't mean that they are both equal. They are just both bad things. Again, this is a concept that you probably cannot understand. There's even weirdos that don't think property owners should be able to defend their property from these dolts. I'm of the position that if you are breaking into a business and you get a bullet in your ass and it kills you, you got what you deserve. You're the aggressor. I'm not trying to hear some theft is not a death sentence, nor do I care what the duty to retreat laws are. This is such a nonsensical talking point because they're basically saying that as a man breaks into your business or home with criminal intent, you need to ask them if they have a gun or plan to do other things. If they say they want your TV and wedding ring, let them do what they want. But don't shoot them because they may die. And stealing things that are part of your livelihood should not come with a death sentence. Nah, if you catch a bullet, that's on you. You're the aggressor. And the act of committing said aggression that you're totally aware is wrong. If you get shot or if you get judo chopped in the neck and die, it's on you. Any invasion can be a deadly one, and every victim has the right to act as if it is, considering that they can't possibly know in most situations. You're the aggressor. You clearly value someone else's property over your own life when you went this route. We also don't apply this logic anywhere else. If a rapist is shot dead in the act of or attempting to rape someone, nobody is like, well, that's not proportionate because rape isn't death. And since when did you care about what's a proportionate response? Damaging the property of a business that had nothing to do with it because a man you didn't even personally know was killed by a criminal institution doesn't seem proportionate. Bro, listen here. I've been lectured over and over the last 48 hours by some people that see one criticism that I've had about looting or something like that, and then pretend as if I have no other position and can't talk about the event. Let's recap, okay? As it pertains to this event, I've done numerous videos specifically on the cops and how the cops were wrong, and appeared even on TV, on The Blaze, in which we literally talk about pulling guns on cops, or the cops involved. But from a larger perspective, since I've been in the public eye, man, as a musician and commentator for about a decade, I've been in opposition to the state and its agents altogether. We've housed so many debates on this channel in which the same type of people that are mad right now are defending the institution they're griping about. All of my public speaking engagements, I've toured internationally talking about this stuff. You just got mad because social media got you riled up. You are mad because you're told to be mad. And that's why your positions are illogical. Once, if at all, these cops are charged with something, you're going to go right back to snitching on your neighbors and sending the same guys you're griping about right now to enforce your whimsical ideals. You want a big government, and that's what you got. You've been preaching about disarming the populace with more gun laws. You've only pushed ideas that get people dependent on the state, which is the issue. And then you want them to be left defenseless against them? I, on the other hand, will still be consistently against this criminal institution. This is nothing but a fad to you. State socialists are not to be taken seriously on the issue of police brutality because on any other day, they advocate ideas that ensure police conflict with peaceful people. You need them to do your bidding and you openly advocate for it. No amount of virtue signals, being fake outrage, retweets, or hashtags is gonna change that. So I'll repeat this again. Though not equal, people that loot or justify looting businesses of the innocent and the state agents are enemies of liberty. I'm not forced to choose sides when you're both wrong. We are not allies. You've made that abundantly clear, as many of y'all fools want me and folks like me dead anyway. And the sad thing is your fake outrage and justification for aggression does not solve this issue of police brutality, state aggression, and so forth. Instead, that message gets lost. Your rioting does not put people on notice. It didn't after the LA riots. It didn't after Freddie Gray. We already know about this particular situation. We knew about it. You gain nothing positive on net when it comes to the attention, or more so when it comes to solving the problem. It was so obvious that you had people of different political ideologies and everything that knew that this was clear and obvious, man. And instead of joining with those that are taking it to the precincts, putting them in check or trying to, attempting to, and I will defend those guys endlessly. I'll praise them. Here you are trying to rationalize with people that are harming those that had nothing to do with it. To those that are trying to keep it about the core issues, I commend you. To those that are targeting the people who are not the enemy, and are not directly involved, go fuck yourself. And when y'all are ready to have a discussion with me, and I know that makes some of you uncomfortable, but if you want to get to the solutions, we got to talk. Black and white leftists, statists, I'm ready. Holla at me.